cooking at home now is faster, cheaper, and tastier than eating out for me. I want to be super sharp and productive, lots of energy. It frees up, one, a lot of time, but also just a lot of kind of mental energy. We need to take our health into our own hands, do our own research, and not rely solely on what one group of people tells us is best for our health. Especially in the productivity space, I feel like there's a lot of obsession over routines, systems, apps, tactics, and stuff, and not enough emphasis on nutrition and building a healthy lifestyle. All right, so I want to go through exactly what I eat on a typical day, not just for my physical health, but to have great mental health, maximize productivity, cognitive performance, and to just feel great all around. Nutrition and health optimization is something that I've really gotten into over the past few years, especially since all the COVID stuff. It really made me realize that we need to take our health into our own hands, do our own research and not rely solely on what one group of people tells us is best for our health. Also, I feel like although health and nutrition is obviously discussed a lot in the fitness space in the context of losing weight, gaining muscle, going to the gym, athletic performance, etc., I feel like it's not discussed enough in the productivity space in the context of knowledge work and simply just feeling like our best selves while we do just every normal day activity. So that's something I would like to dive into more on this channel. I'll put timestamps down below so you can easily come back to a particular section of this video. But before we get into things, I greatly appreciate it if you click subscribe. It's a completely free way to support the channel and could help this video reach someone else who could benefit from it. All right, so starting with when I wake up, first thing in the morning, I actually don't eat any food for the first 2 to almost 3 hours of my day. And it's not because I'm trying to do any sort of intermittent fasting or lose weight or anything. I already have a pretty low body fat percentage. The reason for this is that the first couple hours of my day is typically an important kind of deep work block for me where I get a lot of work done on my YouTube channel before I have to go and start my normal day job. So for this period early in the morning, I want to be super sharp and productive, lots of energy, and find that if I do start the day by eating a big meal, my body starts to use up some of this energy for digestion. It's a really taxing process on the body, and so it becomes more difficult for me to stay focused and get my work done early in the morning, not to mention that if I do have my meal first thing, it takes up some of that precious early morning time, and they say an hour in the morning is worth 2 in the evening. Now, sometimes I will wake up feeling pretty hungry first thing in the morning, but rather than going straight to eating some food, what I've found is that I'm not actually really hungry and I'm more just dehydrated after not drinking anything for the past 8 to 10 hours while I was sleeping. And so first thing I'll do in the morning is definitely hydrate, and that almost instantly causes any hunger to subside. And I've tried a few different things over the past couple of years for morning hydration. The first one, obviously, is just drinking a big glass of plain water. That'll help, but with that, I'm not really getting the essential electrolytes that are often recommended for general health. So what I've also tried is having water with just some salt, maybe a little lemon in there, and that I think helped a little bit, but it doesn't taste that great, so I found that I wasn't really consistent with it. And then I went through a phase of trying to make my own sort of electrolyte elixir hydration drink, but it's honestly kind of a lot of work to do that. You have to kind of measure out all these different, potassium, magnesium, sodium and stuff, mix it all together, try to make it taste good, and it just became kind of burdensome, especially first thing in the morning when, that time and energy is super valuable. I don't want to be kind of wasting brain points mixing up my own electrolytes. And so I stopped doing that. And then I was drinking organic coconut water for a while. So that tastes really good. It's convenient. I don't have to make anything. I just, open up the bottle that I got from Costco. You can buy them in bulk. And I honestly really like that. And I still do drink coconut water when I have it. But the one problem with that is it's kind of expensive. Even if you do buy it in bulk, I forget how much it costs exactly per serving, but it would add up over time. And when traveling and stuff, if I'm not at home, it's kind of difficult because it comes in these big bottles, obviously. So recently what I started using is these Element electrolyte things. You've probably heard these before. I know they sponsor a lot of people. I'm not sponsored by them, unfortunately. If you're watching this, Element, you can feel free to hit me up. But these I genuinely like. They're super convenient. They just come in like these little packages here, and they've got, let's see, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 grams of magnesium. So it's like the optimal ratio or whatever for electrolytes, and they taste good. And so you just pour them into a glass of water, mix it up, and you get your hydration like that. Again, not sponsored, but that's currently what I'm using. It's pretty convenient and tastes great. And also, I think I did the calculations, and per serving, like if I have one of these per day, it's actually cheaper than what I was paying when I got all the coconut water and stuff, and it's more convenient for traveling. All right, so now moving on to some actual food. For breakfast, I always make sure to have a lot of high quality animal protein, and this is gonna be kind of a common theme for all of my meals, not just breakfast. I'm kind of following a carnivore diet or animal-based diet, whatever you want to call it. I'm not 100% strict in terms of eating only meat and animal products. I will have some things like fruit, sauerkraut, raw honey, but I would say that 90 to 95% of the things that I eat on typical days are animal products. So what this means for breakfast is pretty much every day I'll have eggs in some form. So I'll try and get the high quality pasture raised organic eggs, all of that. And the way I'll cook them, I'll either just scramble them, or I'll do this kind of crispy egg method, which is basically like a fried egg, but it's like a little better. Definitely takes a little bit longer. You have to kind of pay attention a little more when you're cooking it. It's something I learned from this chef I really like, Frank Provenzano. He basically taught me all these different techniques for cooking, just taught me how to cook in general. So I'll link some of his videos down in the description if you're interested in seeing how I cook those eggs. But lately, since it takes way less time, I've just been scrambling eggs, and I can also make a lot more eggs, I've found, by scrambling compared to doing these crispy eggs. But yeah, definitely always have eggs in some form for breakfast. And then ideally, I'll also have some kind of meat alongside of that. If I'm short on time, I might just have the eggs. But as for meat, usually it'll be either leftovers, steak, or some kind of beef, hamburgers, anything that I cooked the night before. Or what I'll also sometimes do is have these just canned sardines. I think I have it here. Yeah, so I'll get these little canned sardine packs, and these are really nice because obviously you don't have to cook anything. They're already cooked. You just open it up and just can have it with some eggs, maybe some sauerkraut or something, and it tastes honestly really good. Like, maybe I've always kind of liked fish. I like Japanese food and stuff, so I'm kind of used to the taste of fish. If you haven't had a lot of fish, maybe it'll taste a little weird for you, but I always like it. You know, it's got a nice kind of savory flavor. This one's in some extra virgin olive oil, and these sardines also have a lot of high quality omega-3 fatty acids and stuff, so I don't need to take any kind of fish oil supplements because I think I probably get enough just from these sardines. And you can get a big package of these from Costco for pretty cheap. I think it's pretty reasonable per sardine package. Let's see if I can focus. This is the brand. If you look for these at Costco, I think it probably comes out to maybe like $1 or less than $1 per package. I could be wrong. I'll do a video breaking down prices at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much my breakfast. All right, so during or after breakfast is also when I'll take my supplements. So I try to take them with food because that's generally recommended, and I know some supplements will give me some indigestion if I take them on an empty stomach. So the first one is caffeine. I don't know if you would necessarily consider this a supplement, but I'll have caffeine in the form of black coffee, yerba mate, matcha, green tea, some other Japanese teas sometimes. And I'm not necessarily taking caffeine for the purposes of staying awake. I never really drank caffeine when I was younger, and it's not honestly until the past couple years I've been having it more. I've also never really had too many issues with energy levels, especially since I started the carnivore diet. My energy is pretty solid throughout the entire day. So what I'm consuming caffeine more for is the focus and alertness benefits that I get. So I'll try to only drink it when I'm going to do some deep work, when I've got some important things that I want to get done, because it'll help me just be more productive, I've found, and just really stay focused and dialed in. And so if it's a day like Sunday where I'm just trying to relax and chill out, I probably won't take caffeine because my energy levels are usually fine and I don't really need to be super focused and alert on a relaxing day like that. Now, as for the timing, I'll usually drink it between breakfast and around noon, and this is just to avoid some of the negative side effects, so not have a midday energy crash or interfere with my digestion, negatively affect my sleep, or just mitigate any other potential negative effects that I could get from caffeine. And so far, I've found that to work pretty well. I've been tracking my sleep and stuff and haven't seen a huge or any really significant negative impact on my sleep thus far, but I will have to keep experimenting with that, and we'll keep you updated. Another supplement that I started taking are these collagen peptides, and that is for skin health. So I've always kind of struggled with acne and stuff when I was younger, and it's gotten better, but it still, could be improved. So I've decided to start taking these collagen supplements. You've probably seen it a lot. It's generally pretty well recommended. I also started taking vitamin C with this because I've learned that vitamin C can help the collagen get absorbed a little better. And so I feel like it's made a solid improvement thus far. I've been taking it probably for 6 to 9 months. There were periods where I kind of stopped taking it, and I feel like my skin got a little worse. Recently, I've been more consistent with it, and I think my skin has definitely improved a little bit. So we'll keep you updated on that. I also take some vitamin D. So I've got my little supplement box here. So I take like 5,000 milligrams or 5,000 IUs of vitamin D. It comes in these little soft gel things. And that is just because, it's really hard to get the adequate amount of sunlight that we need for vitamin D with our normal modern day lifestyles. Another thing I've been experimenting with is some tonka ali and zinc. And this is more for the testosterone benefits, which can have plenty of various health benefits, especially for men. And so with that, I've been definitely feeling a positive impact. It's made me kind of enjoy doing more difficult things, if that makes sense. So I'll probably continue taking that for now. I haven't really experienced any negative side effects, but I will definitely get a blood test in the next month or so to see how that's been going. Another supplement I'll take is creatine. So I'll take like 5 grams of this a day. Honestly, I'm not super consistent with this since it doesn't come in a capsule, and I have to do kind of like the whole dry scoop thing, wash it down with water. Not super consistent, so I'm trying to get better about that, but I'll also take that. And this isn't really a supplement, but sometimes before I work out, I won't take any sort of pre-workout or anything, but I'll have a spoonful of raw honey. And I'm honestly still not 100% sure if raw honey is good or not. I've heard lots of conflicting things. Some people saying, well, it's sugar, it'll spike your insulin, all this stuff. But some will say, well, it's got all these nutrients and antioxidants, and it's like the nature's gift type of thing, sweet stuff that all the indigenous tribes and people love to eat. So not really sure. I feel like I could be potentially coping and convincing myself that it's good for me just because it tastes really good and it's sweet, obviously. But I haven't really noticed any negative effects of doing it. It's definitely given me more energy and stuff for my workouts. And the only effect really is just it kind of makes me want to have more honey, which I guess could be a negative. I don't know. But that's about it for supplements. Now, moving on to lunch. I tend to have lunch a bit later in the day, closer to maybe 1 p.m. because my high protein breakfast keeps me full for quite a while. But for lunch, it tends to be fairly similar stuff. Usually it's some kind of leftover steak, maybe leftover wild-caught salmon, depending on the day. If I don't have leftovers, I might cook some of these frozen ground beef burger patties that I get from Costco, 100% grass-fed, really nice and convenient. I'll also sometimes have some kefir, so it's kind of like what is it, fermented? It's not fermented milk, but it's kind of like yogurt, fermented dairy product that's supposedly good for your gut and stuff. Tastes pretty good too once you get used to it. So I'll have that, and sometimes some sauerkraut as well, also for gut health. Basically fermented cabbage, kind of similar to kimchi, but not spicy and Korean. In addition to garlic, sauerkraut and garlic are pretty much the only vegetables that I'll eat. So yes, I don't really eat any other vegetables. I haven't eaten spinach, kale, broccoli, any of that stuff for over a year now, and I'm still alive. My blood work is great last time I checked, and I'm currently really convinced that the carnivore diet or animal-based diet is the optimal diet for humans. It's definitely the one that's made me feel the best and my family members who have tried it themselves. But that's a topic for another video. I could go on a whole ramble about my experiences with that. But the other main thing for lunch is really just I try to avoid any sort of starchy carbs. You know, back in the day growing up, I would always have a nice sandwich or something and then feel that afternoon stereotypical lunch, post-lunch crash. And now that I eat pretty much just meat or protein for lunch, I just stay energized even throughout the afternoon, which is a complete game changer. I get a lot more done when in the past, like from the hours of like 2 p.m. to like 5 p.m., it would basically just be getting nothing done. And so without this, don't really have any brain fog or anything in the afternoon. Now, as for snacks, I usually don't actually snack too much throughout the day, just because my main meals are so nutrient dense and satiating that I don't really get hungry that much. But if I do want to eat a little something, I might have these kind of meat sticks. These are called chomps. There's this other one. I just get these from Costco. Most of my food, especially meat, I get from Costco. I would highly recommend it. It's a lot cheaper. You can get pretty high quality stuff there. But yeah, I'll have some of these. Sometimes I'll have some raw cheese from Costco, maybe some blueberries, more kefir, stuff like that, just to snack on. But again, I usually don't snack too much, although honestly, I'll probably start trying to eat a little bit more just because I would like to maybe gain a little more weight, try and put on some more muscle and stuff. And that's always been a bit of a challenge for me as a skinny guy, but even more so now that I'm on this carnivore diet. It just kind of shreds all the body fat off of me and makes it kind of difficult to gain weight. But that's something that I will keep you updated on as I continue to try and figure out the best way to do that. All right, so let's talk about dinner. This is where we get into the good stuff. And most of the time in an ideal world, I will cook a ribeye steak in some grass-fed butter. And this is arguably the best cut of beef, both in terms of taste and also for health, because it's super nutrient dense. It's got a lot of healthy fats in there. And I get ribeyes from Costco if possible because it's pretty significantly cheaper, and you can also buy them in bulk. So I sometimes will get these giant ribeye things. It costs like a couple $100, but when you divide it up, slice it up, you're saving a lot of money compared to if you went to any other grocery store or if you bought them pre-sliced. And I'll maybe do a full cost breakdown of everything in a separate video. But what they look like is basically just like this. You know, it's a steak, nice ribeye, juicy, lots of fat, good marbling, good stuff. And I've honestly grown to really enjoy cooking steaks. This is another thing that I learned from Frank Provenzano, a chef I really like. I'll leave a link to his kind of method / recipe for cooking steaks in the description, because it's pretty much exactly how I cook my steaks. So if you're interested in trying to do some of these things yourself, you can definitely watch that video. And besides the basic health benefits of eating all this high quality animal protein, there are actually loads of other benefits that I've experienced, particularly in terms of just saving time. So back when I would cook, I guess like normal people food, I'd have to do so much prep, chopping vegetables, washing things, boiling water, cooking rice. It just became a huge hassle to cook meals, which made it more likely that I would go spend money eating out and stuff. And now when I cook a steak, it really only takes like 15 to 20 minutes from start to finish. All I have to do in terms of prep work is like take the steak out of the fridge or the freezer like I am doing now, just let it kind of rest until it comes up to room temperature, add some salt, put butter in a pan, put the steak in the pan, like just like flip it a couple times, and there we go. We've got like super satiating, high quality, nutritious, healthy meal. And because of this, in terms of the productivity side of things, like it frees up a lot of time, but also just a lot of kind of mental energy that I used to spend trying to cook, figure out what to eat and stuff. I'd be thinking, well, what are we going to eat tonight? And then I'd look in the fridge, try and figure it out, then realize I don't have the one ingredient and have to go to the grocery store. It'd just be like so much wasted energy doing this. And now I just, can just buy a bunch of meat and cook it. I don't have to think about it. And I feel better too because of the health benefits and stuff. Now, besides beef and ribeyes, I will sometimes switch it up to other things, whether it's ground beef, burgers, salmon, lamb, any chicken, any sort of animal protein is fine. I just like steaks and beef the best generally, so I'll usually make that, but I will try other things from time to time. As for sides, sometimes I'll just have the meat by itself. Sometimes I'll have more of the similar stuff: sauerkraut, kefir, Greek yogurt, raw cheese, fruit. Sometimes for dessert, I'll put a little honey on some kefir and things like that. But that's about it. For dinner, I will try to eat dinner fairly early. So ideally for me would be eating around like 5 p.m. or something. Usually it ends up being more 6, sometimes 7 or later. But I've found that when I eat really early, like 5 p.m., my sleep is a lot better. So anytime that I have a late meal, especially if I eat out or deviate from the diet and it's a big heavy meal, my sleep won't be as good. Basically, my body will still be digesting as I'm trying to get to sleep, and so my heart rate stays higher. I don't get as much rest and recovery through my sleep, whereas when I eat way earlier and go to sleep not hungry but fully digested, my sleep is significantly better. Now, besides food, what I will drink around dinner time is also some chamomile tea, which helps me, again, with sleep, falling to sleep, getting relaxed and stuff like that. And that about does it for what I eat on a typical day. Now, I will deviate from this diet from time to time, especially when I'm traveling. It's honestly quite difficult to stick to this kind of carnivore, animal-based diet when you're away from home. If you've watched any of my recent vlogs while I was in New York, you could definitely see that I cheated on the diet quite a bit. And it is difficult because when you're in a different place and you eat out, especially, it's like having a ribeye steak at a restaurant will easily run you up like $50 or something. Whereas if I cook it at home, not only is it a fraction of the price, but honestly, this is not to brag, I'm no master chef or anything, but I've yet to have a steak at a restaurant that has tasted better than what I've cooked at home. So I don't know what that is, or whether it's the technique or the ingredients or what, but cooking at home now is faster, cheaper, and tastier than eating out for me. So traveling has become a bit of a challenge in terms of what to eat. So I'll leave links in the description to anything that I think might be relevant to what I talked about in this video. Again, nothing in this video is sponsored at all. All I literally talked about was just like some meat and I guess some supplements, I suppose, but nothing sponsored. This is just stuff that I genuinely consume on a typical day. And I really just wanted to make this video partially because I want to kind of re-solidify these healthy nutrition habits into my own routine. Over the summer, I was traveling, kind of cheated on my diet a lot, and I want to really get things straight as we transition out of the summer and back into the fall season. And in general, I want to make more videos about health and nutrition on this channel because, for one, something that I've really gotten into, super interested over the past couple years, and I want to make this channel about videos that I want to make them about. But two, I genuinely feel like optimizing our health and nutrition is something that will benefit literally everyone. So every one of you guys who watch these videos, regardless of your situation, your goals, your career, etc., will benefit from optimizing your health. And especially in the productivity space, I feel like there's a lot of obsession over routines, systems, apps, tactics, and stuff, and not enough emphasis on nutrition and building a healthy lifestyle, which in my experience has made probably the largest impact on my productivity and just ability to feel my best and enjoy life, which is really what life is all about at the end of the day. Back during COVID and over the past few years, I used to get sick a lot, and it was really frustrating. And no matter what productivity system I was using, no matter what routines I had or habits I had built, when my health started to decline and I got sick, everything would just go out the window. I wouldn't get anything done. And so in those moments, I was always just reminded of the importance of health and how I should kind of put that as a priority above almost everything else, because if your health isn't good, then everything else in your life will suffer a little bit. So going on a bit of a tangent, but I definitely just want to help encourage everyone who watches this channel and just more people to take control of their own health. I feel like there's so much more I could talk about by incorporating more health stuff into my videos, like the science I'm learning to back up all the stuff that I'm doing in my life, my workout routines, blood test results, skincare, challenges I'm facing, trying to bulk and build muscle as a skinny guy, all this different stuff. And although I'm no doctor or expert, I feel like there could be some value or at least entertainment in seeing me kind of navigate this whole health space and take control of my own health, learn things from others, and report them back to you. If you're interested in these types of videos or topics, please let me know down in the comments. Although, to be honest, I'll probably still make them because I'm selfish and I want this channel to cover anything and everything that I am genuinely interested in, but would still love to hear from you. As always, do something today that your future self would thank you for.